Soares dos Reis was an artist from the 19th century, and he sculpted this image when he was 24 years old in marble. It's called the Exiled. So it represents people that lost everything. And when you are exiled, you only have one thing left, really, which is your thinking. You lose everything. You lose your land, you lose your family, you lose your friends, you lose everything you own except your thoughts. This was an exam piece, by the way. This is life-size. I think it's beautiful. And again, it's full of psychology, which is something that was so important for 19th century artists. When did psychology emerge in the history of humanity? There were some attempts during the Roman Empire. Even the ancient Greeks had some kind of proto-psychology. But the real psychology, like the one we recognize nowadays, it's from the 19th century. It started big time with scientific claims in the 19th century, and then it was developed during the 20th century. So psychology, the study of the human soul, the study of human expressions, is something that concerned a lot artists from the 19th century. If you read Dostoevsky, for example, he was the best psychologist in history, even more than Freud. So writers like Dostoevsky or sculptors like Soares dos Reis, they wanted to portray what is going through the minds of somebody. Unlike nowadays, when I look at a lot of contemporary art, I only see the style of the artist, but zero interest towards the model. Lucian Freud. So essentially, these artists paint everybody the same way. It doesn't matter your personality, your life story, your character, or your looks. They paint you always with the same style. To me, that's a mistake. A good portraitist adjusts the style accordingly to the subject matter that is being portrayed. This is one of the paintings that I did at the National Museum at night, and I had different shades of black. So all the colors that you are seeing in there, they are pure black pigments. But because they have different chemical compositions, they have different colors. You know, some are darker, some are lighter, but none of them was mixed with white to make the grays. It's chemically pure black pigments. And I started painting the Exiled at night, just with the moonlight. The white sculpture, which would be shades of white, becomes a black sculpture. All these paintings were painted in almost absolute darkness. Because I couldn't see very well what I was doing, I prepared the different blacks on the palette in order of darker to lighter, the same way that a pianist has got the low notes, the middle, or the high. So they were in an order. And that means that while I was painting, I would just select the color. If I'm painting a shadow, I would go to the darker black. If I'm painting a mid-tone, I would go to the middle one. If I'm painting a highlight, I would go to the lightest black on the palette. But it was almost like painting blindly. You couldn't see the painting very well. It was all very hazy. And the painting emerged. And then very, very strange things happened. We talked about it yesterday in the lecture. Artists were kind of shamans. Remember that the arts and spirituality were always interconnected. And the arts can give you a kind of knowledge that is very, very different to the knowledge you get from sciences or from philosophy. The arts are a type of knowledge. And as I was painting the image of the Exiled looking down, you can see the face. Surprisingly, 50% of the public does not see the face. Can you see it? Do I have to show you where it is? Okay, good. Because surprisingly, 50% of the public gets confused by the colors and it thinks it's an abstract painting. It's not an abstract painting. So the face is looking down to the right, you have the nose, etc. As I was painting, the hair looked like a bull. And while I was painting the animal, I was just thinking, this looks like Zeus, the ancient Greek god. And then I realized I was painting the human and the divine. And together there is an owl. An owl is a bird. The eye is also the left eye of the owl. And then there is a beak tilting downwardly. And I was thinking, this is Athena, the Greek goddess. Now you have the human underneath and the divine above. But together with that, many more symbols emerged. The ocean, for example, started to appear, and also mountains, and also different creatures, all kinds of different animals. It's very difficult to see because there is too much light in the room, and this is a black painting. Do you think you could drop the lights even lower? Okay, much better. I don't know if you can see a sperm whale. There is a whale, which I'm going to show you now. So if you look at the black shapes, there is an abstracted whale. And right next to the whale, can you see a monkey? A chimpanzee looking to the left. The profile, I'll show you again. I'll point to the nose, okay? And the mouth. And I was thinking, wow, this represents an imitation of man. So you have the real man, but then you also have a bad copy, an imitation. I was having all these images coming through my mind as I was painting. For example, the tail of the whale at the top is also a demon. Can you see a medieval gargoyle at the very top laughing? So the tail is the mouth of the demon. You got it?
Yeah.
I could go on and on and on with many more symbols. So like I was saying, you lose everything when you are in exile. At the bottom, you've got those hills. They could be the landscapes of the country he loved, but it could also be the breasts of the woman he loved. Do you see a rat biting into a pool of blood? A rodent, like biting into the ideas of the exiled. And I don't know why, a Easter bunny, a chocolate rabbit, that I don't understand, but I was compelled to paint it. So what you have in here is microcosmos, the portrait of the exiled, painted live from the sculpture at night. The museum gave me permission to work during the night after the visitors left. So it was just the moonlight and myself and the sculpture. So you have the portrait of the exiled, but you also have all the thoughts that surround this life story. So what I'm trying to pass on to you is that painting a portrait can go beyond just capturing the shapes of the face. You can introduce a lot of information without destroying the accuracy of the portrait.